Welcome everyone to the Three Borders Sports Network and our first coaches show. I'm joined right now by Coach Larry Lash, coach of the Wahpeton cross country team. I'll be joined later by Mr. Joe Schreiner. We'll have a couple interviews with a few other of the coaches from Wahpeton High School. Coach Lash, thanks for joining me today on the coaches show.
I feel honored, Coach Watson, the first guest on the Three Borders Coaches Show. It's good.
I like it. We're glad that you're here. So tell me about cross country season so far. You've had a couple of meets. How's it going?
You know, I can't complain. I just commented to my assistant coach, Christy Hare. I said, hey, it's a beautiful day outside, and we're running with a bunch of kids who share this interest, this love of running, and they want to get better, and we're getting paid for it. I mean, you can't beat that.
You got to like that. The weather's been pretty good. You got some girls and boys out there running, doing a good job so far.
Well, we had our first race, and we have 42 kids on our team now. We're up to 42.
Wow, you started with 40. I know the first time.
Right, the first interview was 40. We added 2 more kids. I would think maybe 30 when we started the season. And the first race, I think 30 of those kids competed. Yep. The other kids didn't have enough practices in yet, or for whatever reason. So anyway, we ran our second race here in town, and just getting that first race out of the way, I ran 39 of our 42 kids, which is really good for our home openers before Labor Day.
Okay.
And of those 39 kids who ran, all the kids who ran the week before, everyone had a time drop already. Well, which is pretty impressive. And some of those kids dropped. We're running 3 miles. Most of the junior high kids run 2 miles.
Okay.
But our varsity kids just weren't dropping time. We're talking like 1 or 2 minute time drops. And I think a lot of it, the first race, is nerves. I mean, they haven't competed since maybe last season. They didn't get a track season. So I think by the second race, they just feel comfortable. They were happy to be running in front of their home crowd. There were so many people out there who had never seen a cross-country race because there's no football games to go to in Breckenridge. There's no volleyball games in Breckenridge. And I think a lot of people are just happy to be supporting a high school activity. They haven't done that.
Yeah, I think people are looking for something to do, and I think people are starting to look at different sports as far as something to go watch. And like you said, there are a lot of people who are going to events that they either never thought they would go to or had no interest in going to, but now they want to find a way to support, the high school program and the kids that are out there competing. And cross country is one of those events that maybe you don't go to, and now you get a chance to go and see. So how did the guys do in that home event?
Sure. In the home race, the boys, we went up against 2 really quality teams. DGF was the other team, and Frazee. We just run triangulars right now because of the COVID restrictions, 3 teams.
Right.
And those are 2 of the top teams in, it'd be Section 8A, which is just north of us. We're in Section 6A.
Okay.
And DGF had a really quality team, but Aiden Ruddy was our top runner. He placed 4th. He ran the 5K in 18 minutes and 8 seconds, which was a minute faster than what he ran the previous week.
Nice.
He started out back around 10th place, but we talked about that. He went out way too fast the first week. I said, reel it back a little bit, run a more even pace instead of running like your first mile a minute faster than trying to hang on. And this time he started out in 10th place and worked his way up to 4th.
Wow, nice.
So that was nice. And our big surprise in the season has been this sophomore, Luke Baumgartner. He was our second runner. He placed 13th overall. Just steady. I would have guessed Luke would have been maybe fighting for a 7th spot on our team.
Sure.
But he passed 2 of our seniors, which is sometimes, kids, they get in that pecking order.
Right.
But he went by Gus and Junior and Logan, and they got 3 seniors, in fact. He passed all 3 in the last mile. And him, let's see, he ran a 1950. Junior was right behind him, Junior Perez. He ran a 1953. Gus was right behind Junior at 2006, and then Logan was 2011.
Nice.
So 4 guys all grouped together, and that's going to pay dividends later because as each one improves, the other guys will know, hey, I can go with him.
Right, you're just starting out the season. You got some young kids that are competing, and they're only going to get better, as you said. You've already seen some improvement from race 1 to race 2. What about on the girls' side?
The girls' side, Rachel Gown. Rachel Gown was the overall winner. She won the whole race.
Really? Number 1.
Number 1, yeah,
nice.
First place. And she too, from week one where she ran, I forget, maybe 23 minutes,
Yep.
she dropped her time. She dropped her time well over a minute, down in the low 22s.
Wow. Now, we had talked before that Rachel was one of your top runners, state
Correct.
qualifier.
Right.
But you got some girls back who had ran before, who hadn't run for a year, took a year off, and Gabby Baumgartner. How'd she do?
Yeah, Gabby, she led the race for the first half.
Really?
Totally confident, completely comfortable. And then maybe the last mile, it was her first race.
Sure.
Might have went on a little bit too quick. But the key is she didn't like just completely drop off. She fell back. Gabby still finished. She was our third runner. She still finished in 9th place overall.
Nice. Nice.
So I was happy with that. I think last year we only had Rachel and maybe one other kid go under 24 minutes all season.
Okay.
And so Rachel's already gone under 24. Both Maddie Rabbithead and Gabby have already gone under 24.
Okay.
So, I mean, we are so far ahead of where we were last year.
Right. Right.
And maybe the weather has been more conducive. We've had some nice days for training.
Sure.
And maybe, too, the kids are just excited to be back and competing, and it feels good for them.
Well, it sounds like the season's off to a good start. Where do you go next? You got two meets under your belt. What's up next week for you?
So this week now, coming up on Friday, we go to West Central Areas, hosting a race. It's on near a golf, or what's the golf course by Obo Lake?
I can't think of what it's called. I know it's a nice golf course. I know that.
Yeah, Palminteri Golf Course. So we'll be
go.
on Palminteri Golf Course on Friday afternoon.
Yep.
And it doesn't get any easier to schedule. We ran against DGF and Frazee, two good teams. And on Friday, West Central Area, I believe, is ranked the #1 team in Minnesota right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the 1A.
So you're going to have
So they're
tough competition
quality.
in that race, yeah.
And the other team going there is United North Central, which is the Naga Sabika.
Mm-hmm.
And their girls missed going to state last year by a tiebreaker in their sectional.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how good their boys team is. I know the West Central area has a good girls team too.
Okay.
Rachel Gowan beat West Central's #1 runner last year. And I know the West Central girl walked away a little bit snarky after it. So but that's fun. There's going to be a little bit of that on the line.
Well, you can't refuse a little bit of competition.
Nope.
So
So-
you got to like that. One will push the other, so that's kind of nice.
And this Allie here, she's a sophomore here at Wahpeton.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like Luke was our surprise boy.
Right.
Allie just ran phenomenal for her first race. She was right behind Gabby and Madison, her #4 runner.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And even today in practice now, she was our third runner in. We went for a 6-mile run today, and she was our third girl in. So
Wow. So it sounds like you've got some young kids who are promising. The season's off to a good start, and you're headed in the right direction.
it is. Right now, it's just fun. I mean, with the way things went last spring, every meet's a blessing.
Sure.
Every practice is a blessing. And I think the kids are kind of accepting that now, and they don't want to, take it for granted.
Okay. All right, great. Well, Coach Lass, I want to thank you for joining us today. We wish you luck next week. Anything you'd like to add before we finish?
No, thank you guys for the PR, and I mentioned Coach Harris helping us out, and we have Haley McCall. It was Haley Gunderson. She's our junior high track coach. She joined us, and the three of us are just having a fantastic time coaching these kids, and the two communities, WAP and Breck, the co-op and cross country, it just seems to work. 42 kids, so.
Well, Coach Lass, thanks again. I appreciate you joining us. We look forward to talking to you throughout the season, and we look forward to good things from the cross country team.
All right, thank you.
That's Coach Larry Lash with the cross country team. We thank him for joining us today on Three Border Sports. We'll be back in a minute with Coach Jeff Ralph of the girls golf team.
The Wahpeton All Sports Booster Club would like to thank those individuals, families, and businesses who sponsored Husky sports over the years. 2020 has been a challenging year for us all, but we hope you'll continue supporting Husky athletics through the Wahpeton All Sports Booster Club. To learn more about what we do for the Huskies, please visit www.wapetonboosterclub.com or go to our Facebook page. Thanks from the Wahpeton All Sports Booster Club.
Welcome back to Three Border Sports Network. I am joined now by Coach Jeff Ralph, head coach of the girls golf team. Coach Ralph, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you are more than halfway through your season so far. Things are off to a pretty good start for you.
You know, we've played, I think, as good as we could expect.
Yep.
Maybe sometimes, of course, we'd like to play a little better,
Yep.
but I think 6 tournaments we've been the top 6 in every one. We finished third twice. fourth, fifth. There's some great competition in our league. You look at Wednesday's tournament, and we finished third, and Red River, who was really shaky at the start of the season, is seventh. Central's eighth. And those are two teams that are going to be looking for one of those top six spots. So, I think legitimately there are 8 teams in our league that could get into those top six. So we're gonna have to keep playing as well as we did have all season, and even play a little better.
We talked a little about your top two. I know earlier in the earlier interview we talked about Annika and Maddie, and how they're going to carry you here a little bit. How have they been playing?
Well, they haven't. I'm going to be honest. They haven't carried us. Our other girls have done what they can do, and leading up till Wednesday, I told Coach Bach on the bus ride up on Wednesday morning. I said, it's time for Annika and Maddie to put up a really good score, and who would have thought? Annika shoots 82, which is good. Her lowest score this season.
Nice.
And then Maddie shoots an 81 with 3 birdies and almost had an ace. Those two, that got us that 350. And I think today they showed what they can do, and that's really my expectation. I'm half joking and half not about.
Right.
That's my expectation for them. I really think they can play that well all the time. So, if they continue to do that, we're seeing our other girls make improvements in their games, but we really need those two to be leaders on the scoreboard for us, and they really did that on Wednesday.
We've talked to a couple other coaches, cross country and swimming, and so far this season they've had some surprises from some of their younger kids. And it sounds like you had a bit of a surprise today from one of your young golfers.
Oh yeah, Hallie Miller just, she starts out, makes a quadruple bogey on her first hole.
I've been there.
Right? We all have. But she shoots an 88 today, so that's 16 over, and she's 4 over after one hole. So
Wow.
She's 12 over the remaining 17 holes, and just I think an example of her day today was on one of her last few holes, number 6, about a 320-yard hole, and she bombs it out there and has about 80 yards left, and pulls out the rangefinder, shoots it, which, I've been on her about, Hallie, you need to know the exact yardage. Pulls out the rangefinder, shoots it, and knocks it right in the middle of the green, makes a great 2-putt for a par, and it was just like, you could tell by her demeanor how she's walking down the fairway that, I'm on top of this today, and for her to shoot an 88 is really, Maddie's 81, Annika's 82, but Hallie's 88 was
a big surprise.
That's about 6 shots or better for us today from her.
Wow.
And that the expectation again is maybe there, but she was just phenomenal today, and has been kind of up and down. She'll shoot a 99 and then a 92 and then back to a 94. She's kind of been hanging around that 94 mark, but 88 today. Gosh, throw out that quad and turn it into a double. 86, she might have gotten the top 10.
Wow. So is that qualify for her for state?
Yeah, we had 3 qualifiers today. Annika had qualified a couple weeks ago at where the heck were we at? Rose Creek, I think.
Yep.
And then today, Maddie's 81 qualified her for state, and then Hallie's 88 also qualified. So we had 2 girls qualified. 2 girls shoot their career low scores. Just a great day for our golf team today.
So you're halfway there with state qualifiers and your top 6. It sounds like, like we talked about, you do have the 2 girls who've been carrying you. How are the girls, some of those younger girls outside of Hallie, how have they been playing?
I think just kind of steady, not, nothing great, nothing really poor, just kind of steady. Lily Anderson, a sophomore, I think started out the year about 110, and we've got her down to 100, 101 or 102 today.
Mm-hmm.
She got to 100 once earlier. Scout's kind of in the same way. Scout Woods kind of that 105 range, 100, 106, but we're seeing improvement from them. and she's an eighth grader. She's young.
Sure.
We had and also McKenna Kumo, a sophomore, with a year of varsity experience, but just really inconsistent. And today, I think really struggled today and still shot a 99 or a 98, which we need her to break 100.
Right.
But she just had some really tough holes today, and that's the consistency thing. And you joke at the beginning, well, I've done that. We've all done that as
Right.
golfers, but we just need a little more consistency out of her. She's been consistently our fourth score. We like to have that definitely under 100, and with Hallie shooting 88, that certainly helps that a lot.
Right. You've had some individuals who have been inconsistent, but as a team though, you're pretty consistent. You're finished well in your tournaments. You've got 3 third-place finishes. You're somewhere in that third to fifth range in each tournament. So you got to be happy with how the group is playing.
We have, but we've been really consistent. The third place finishes, and then it's been 4, 5, 6, 5, and but to me, it's a scary thing because when you're hanging around 6, you're on the bubble. And I really think we're one of the top 3 or 4. Fargo South, I think this year's been just a real surprise for how and they don't have anybody that gets in the top 10, but everybody shoots 91, 92, and that gets you down to about 360, and that is a good team golf score. And for us, we have to have our lower scores do that for us, but I think those other girls are coming. They're figuring it out. Lily today, for example, we're just not happy with her game, and I watched her probably hit 10 shots today, and maybe one was not very good. The rest were all good,
right.
But she's just not satisfied with that, and I think that's part of. She wants to play better,
right? And
she's working at it, and that's the good thing. That consistent sixth is, like I said, it's scary.
Yeah, that's a tough part of golf. You hit a good shot, but you always want to hit a better shot.
Yeah, she had on that same hole with that Hallie had the nice par where she bombed it and hit her in the middle and 2-putted. Lily missed the green and made a nice chip to about 8 feet, and then just lipped out the par putt and made a bogey. But that was a good hole for her. I mean, she played pretty well on that hole, and that's what she needs to do for us. She needs to make bogeys and pars and not make the triples and the quads that really hurt your game.
Right. I mean, we should talk about you're finishing third in some of your meets, but at the top that 1 and 2, there's a big gap there. So that third place finish is really something. I mean, there's a little bit of separation there, and that's kind of tough to overcome for you.
There really is. Fargo Shanley has 1 or 2 girls in the 70s every tournament, and then maybe 3 girls in the 80s, 1 girl that shoots 95, and Davies kind of the same thing. I think they're number 5, 6, maybe not quite as good, so they're really relying on their top 4. But those two are definitely separated from the pack. I mean, we're 350 today. We're 28 shots away from them. I mean, they're just solid all the way through. And I think for us to move past third, they're going to have to falter. I mean, and 20 shots, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to give up and a lot to overcome. Yeah, and when you shoot 77, you're probably not going to shoot 97.
Right.
You might shoot 83, but you're not going to shoot 20 shots worse. So, but I think for us, our focus is those group of teams in 3 through 8, and we need to make sure we stay ahead of them. When we get to the region, we're going to be paired with those teams that are in our group, and our goal is we got to beat the girls in our group.
Right.
You need to take care of your business in your group, and then we'll know, we'll be okay. We can't worry if we have a Shanley girl or a Davies girl in our group. We'd like to play right with them.
Let them go and just play your own match.
We got to beat those other girls, and I think, I'm confident that we will be one of those teams. But when you're kind of hanging on that bubble, you just never know it. And you know what? I bet you the coaches from Grand Forks Central and Red River would say the same thing. Fargo North, Fargo South would say the same thing. I mean, we're all just right there, and who's gonna play well on that day to get the state.
Well, it sounds like it's a competitive group for you to be in. I know you have the top two in Shanley and Davies, but it's nice to kind of be competitive in the middle there. And it sounds like the beginning of the season has been good for you guys. We wish you luck down the road here. Who do you have coming up next week?
You know, we're at Village Green next Monday, and Village Green's has been a qualifier in the past. So you know, it's a course we feel like we can score pretty well. Everybody's played there for us. We got Scout in the course there last year too. So we've had, you know, that's a big thing when you go to a golf course and you don't know where you're supposed to hit it. And we talk about a lot of those things, but that course, you know, if we can play well there, I think kind of lines up kind of like Grand Forks Country Club, in that you got to hit your ball straight. You know, it's tree line and house line on the back, so you have to play well there. And then you go Fargo Country Club, just like Grand Forks Country Club, you better hit it, keep it between the trees.
Right.
And then, you know, Maple River will be just kind of a nice tune-up going into regional. But these next two, I think, are really going to show us where we're at, and as confident as we are. I mean, I've never, you know, for leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning, the bus ride home was, I mean, they're flying high, you know, and Maddie with her 81, and the other girls, just so excited for them, and Hallie playing so well in qualifying. They're super excited, and I was thinking, you know, I wonder what practice is going to be like tomorrow. Are we going to be excited and ready to go to work? And I think we will tomorrow.
I think it'd be pretty good coming off of that.
Yeah, so, I really do too.
I really do. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I know some of your girls hit it a lot straighter than I do. Like I said, we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season with your 3 state qualifiers that you have now, and hopefully a couple more girls make it.
Yep, I hope so, and I hope our team makes it too. So
all right,
thanks,
great.
Coach.
All right, thanks. That's going to do it for Coach Jeff Ralph and the girls golf team, and we'll be right back with our next interview.
Scott's Electric in Wahpeton is a proud supporter of high school athletics. If you're in need of commercial, industrial, agricultural, or residential electric service, call Scott's Electric at 642-9244. Licensed and bonded in North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota, offering 24-hour electrical service. Check out Scott's Electric website at www.scottselectric.net. Scott's Electric. Joe Schreiner here with Three Borders Sports Network, and I'm joined now by head coach of the boys tennis team, Amanda Luddensetter. Amanda, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you joining our first coaches show here of the season, and we're going to have more coming up, so we appreciate you coming in and spending some time this evening here after practice and joining us. Okay, so the season has started for you. We had our preseason fall coaches show and talked a little bit about the team. All right, and then you've had some matches here. Let's talk about the first 3 matches here, and we'll save the best for last.
All right. You know, the start of our season, we actually had some pretty good matches against Valley City and Cheyenne. Cheyenne has typically been a really tough team, been in the top 3, at least for the last 5 years. This year, we competed really hard, and though the score didn't quite show it, 4 of the matches were tie-break matches, which meant it could have gone either way. And the 5th match was 5-7, 5-7, which was also really tough. So, I mean, had we closed those matches that were all tie breaks, it would have been 5-4, and it would have been our victory against one of the tougher schools we face. We played Davies the other day, last week, and it was so windy, and tennis balls float. So they clapped us pretty hard, but you know, for a team that typically has 90 guys come out in a season, and with our 15, I think our guys,
pretty tough.
I think our guys played really well, and they played hard. Just learning how to play and all those varying conditions is still something that, you know, we gotta work on. North Dakota tennis is win tennis, so.
Yep. Okay, so let's fast forward now, and September 3rd, you played West Fargo.
Right.
And we got a victory.
We did.
A much-deserved victory, and you felt pretty good. How's the team feel? Talk about some of the actual matches that you want to talk about that the boys had.
It's been a long minute since the Husky boys tennis team has won a match. We're in a tough conference, being Class A, and like I said, some of the teams come out with about 90 guys in the fall, and I think they handled it well. And bless their hearts, I think they were a little bit stunned by their own victory after the match. Some of it took some time to absorb, and it wasn't, we won 6-3, and our 1 and 2 both had really tight matches. Jacob Bartles was in a third set, and he fell in our number 1 doubles, or number 1 singles. David Cummings was 5-7, 5-7. So we won 6-3, but it could have easily been 8-1 as well. The guys taking home wins, I have my young man Alex Cummings at 6 singles and at 3 doubles, and he took 2 victories home. Same thing with Andrew Otusky. He was playing 4 singles that day and 3 doubles. Both those 2 got a double win. They were solid in doubles. They were communicating well, moving well, covering the court, and those two, of course, got 3 of our wins that we really needed. And then to close it out, I had Douglas Burvey at 3. He's my guy from Fairmount. He worked hard. He grinded. He moved the ball around really, really well, making sure that he stayed aggressive and stayed into the points. So, and just those guys working together. And then at 2 doubles and at 2 and 1 doubles, again, my guys stayed really strong. 1 doubles. Kind of wanted to get my heart racing. I was after them in the first set about, not taking the foot off the gas, and they made sure that they stepped down hard on the second set. So, I mean, even my 1 and 2 guys, though they fell in 1 singles, they still were able to take it in doubles, and that was critical. We needed to experience that win so desperately.
That was
years of losing will get to the heart, and they didn't know how to win. That's what that match against Cheyenne told me, watching all those tie breaks fall, is they simply didn't know how. And playing West Fargo, they had a tough team. They had good guys out, but it was finally an opportunity for my guys to finally learn that they are competitive, that they are good tennis players, and that they can win. And it meant it was everything that they needed.
That's a tough thing to teach, Coach, isn't it? Teaching how to win and then be consistent with it.
Absolutely.
And to do that. And so for them to experience that first W here of the year, a great thing. So hopefully
we
they
can keep
remember
the
that
momentum.
feeling.
Yep. And then that was the big emphasis. When we huddled up at the end of the match, they were excited, obviously, but I drilled it home that this is what you have to remember. You have to remember that last point. You have to remember what it feels like, and you have to hold on to it tight, because just like your muscles hold on to those memories. And you're going to show up every time you make a mistake, and that's not what you should be showing up for. Every time you succeed, it has to be a big reaction. That way your body will remember.
And that match, I believe, was at home here.
Yep.
So, I mean, like you said, I'm sure the fans were excited.
Yeah,
I mean, it
absolutely.
had to be
It was a big deal.
A smile on your face, so it must have brought goosebumps to you.
Absolutely. And like I said, it was just exciting for them. And like I said, a little bit stunned. Like a few of them came off the court and they're like, did we win? Did we win? And, my last 2 guys off the court were the 1 and 2, and, they don't know.
Yeah.
So they had all that pressure on them, and I told my one guy at the end of near the end of his match, I'm like, what are you worried about? Your team won. This is supposed to be fun. Go and play and have fun. And he did. He played much better once he realized that pressure was off his shoulder, that he wasn't the clincher of the match. He played excellently. And that's part of it. Every guy in tennis feels that pressure. It's just him and his opponent on the court. There's no team to fall back on, pat you on the butt and tell you you're doing good. It's you that has to do it for you. So having that victory and knowing it was there was the team supporting him. That was the pat on the butt that he needed to get him through. So
great life experience and great stuff for the team to experience. And you and I were talking off air before we started here, Coach, about you do your summer job with the summer rec kids and being able to watch these guys that you taught as summer rec kids. Now they're growing up here and they're getting this level here. So you've seen the growth and experienced it and helped train them.
Yeah,
so it's got to be a good feeling for you.
It is definitely a good feeling. When I started coaching at Wapson, there was just not quite the structure that we needed to really grow tennis, and basically a hostile takeover of all the tennis programs so that I could have some sort of say and control in what was coming up. And yeah, it's been really fun and rewarding to see these little guys go from being in Parks and Rec tennis and learning to hit the ball to coming up and becoming seniors, and knowing that this is their moment and they deserved it, they earned it. They've definitely put in the time.
Congratulations to the team. Great win for you guys, and again, congratulations to you, Coach. All right, let's look forward now. September 10th, Thursday, you got Fargo North here.
Yeah.
And what are you looking for there? Another W, I hope.
Absolutely. You know, we have an opportunity to win. Fargo North and ourselves are about middle of the pack when it comes to the EDC. Fargo North has a really good coach. He coached when I played, and he grinds those guys. But I think that this year will be our year to take it from them, and that's what our goal is. And even tonight at practice, I told them a while ago, you can't prepare tomorrow when you show up to the court. It's got to be tonight.
Yep.
It's got to be now. You got to go home, you go to bed, you eat right, and you get hydrated. And I was like, and tomorrow we have work to do. So I was like, you keep it in your heads that win is right there. It's still in our muscles. We can do it again, but we're going to have everyone show up tomorrow, not just some of us.
All right, they tasted that victory. Now
They
it's time to
did.
keep going.
Yeah, I was like, if you're hungry, then show me you're hungry. So
Yeah.
we're really excited. We're glad it's at home, and we're hoping that it will warm up like it did today. It was a gorgeous day today. We need that day tomorrow because the cold is not friendly with tennis at all. So. Yeah, we're pretty excited.
Okay, just looking at the schedule, you're supposed to have a West Fargo Cheyenne tourney on the 12th. Has that been canceled, or is that
Nope.
still on?
We are still on for the tournament. In years past, it's always been the East versus West. This year, the West schools will not be joining us, so it'll be all East schools. And this is a great opportunity for my guys to see who they might be facing come
Size
EDC.
up.
Yep. This is definitely an EDC moment for them. So I'm playing my varsity, the majority of my varsity at 1 through 6 singles. Usually I spread them out between singles and doubles, and this year I said we're going to go straight singles just to see how they do. I do have my one guy, Matt Cummings. He plays number 5. He'll be playing with Carter St. Aubin, who is my number 7, and they'll be playing 2 doubles, which is going to be a very tough position for them to be in, but a really good experience for them, as Carter has not experienced varsity level doubles yet, and Matt's still in the bottom of the ladder, so he's going to get a taste of what next year will probably be for him. So yeah.
Well, good luck to the Wahpeton boys Husky tennis team, and we appreciate Amanda Lundsetter, head coach of the boys tennis team. Anything else you want to add there?
Hey,
come on out.
Yeah, we would love to have anyone and everyone who would like to come out to the tennis courts and support the boys. It's nice, big, open space, plenty of area to social distance, and definitely the guys are very entertaining. The doubles matches have been very back and forth and very intense, and even our JV guys have been putting on a pretty good exhibition. So we invite you guys out to come cheer us.
All right. Congratulations again, Coach, on your first
Yeah.
W, the team on their first W of the year, and many more to come, we hope. So,
Yes.
for Amanda Lundsetter, I'm Joe Schreiner. We'll be right back.
Thrivent Financial wishes the Wahpeton Husky Falls sports teams and coaches the best of success. Thrivent is proud to have the opportunity to support this community and help those who live and work here make the most of their time, talents, and treasures. Call Will Ulick, your local Thrivent financial professional. If you're interested in putting plans that align with your values into action, please call Will Ulick at 701-642-1108. Thrivent Financial. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Three Borders Sports Network. I'm Joe Schreiner, and I'm joined now by head coach of the Wahpeton Husky football team, Wade Gilbertson. Wade, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Our initial coaches show, and you're one of our first guests, so we appreciate you being here.
Right on, and this is a more comfortable seat than I've ever had in any coach's show.
Yeah.
I've been on.
So we're gonna have a little talk here and talk about some things. Let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit here. We're gonna go back a couple weeks because this is our first coaches show. We'll just talk briefly about the Millbank game, 29-14 loss down in Millbank. But I believe it was a tale of two halves, correct?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we came out and I thought we were ready to play, and we just were not. We got knocked around a little bit to start that game, and it took us until halftime to figure some things out. And we readjusted a few things and came back in the second half and made it a ball game. You know, and one of the things that we did, we tried to establish the run game to open up the pass game, and couldn't get anything going on the ground, not one thing. And so what we tried to do in the second half is we decided just a simple game plan, change it up and spread them out. And then we started throwing all over them. They really didn't have an answer to our open formation, to our empty formation. They didn't quite know what to do when we started in that formation in the second half.
And by empty formation, you mean no back in the backfield?
Correct. Correct. We just went totally empty and spread everything out. We took our tailback and we moved him out into the perimeter and slot receiver position, and we had all of our 5 receivers running all over the place. Yep. And that helped. We thought they were playing a slice coverage on the backside. They're playing one type of coverage on one side and a totally different type of coverage on the other side. And having those 4 and 5 receivers running all over the place affected that coverage. They didn't know quite what to do because they hadn't seen it yet in the game. So, and that's one of the reasons why we were able to open up a lot of space on the football field. And we we call it dinking and dunking. You know, we just kind of 5 yards here, 7 yards there, and then kind of opened up for a deep ball, a deep shot to take the top off of them every once in a while. And we were able to get a couple of scores, and we got right back into the football game.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a good comeback in the second half. I think I know you're not a big stats guy, that you don't like to talk a lot of stats, but Blake Schaefer, I think he was 14 to 27 for 246 or something like that, 246 net yards. So he had a great game there, and like you said, it mostly came in the second half.
Yeah, and it was all, I mean, not all, but most of it was second half stuff. And it's the first time we've had a quarterback throw for over 200 yards in a little while.
I bet.
He's matured nicely as a quarterback. I mean, his poise in the pocket, nothing really is getting him rattled. And we could see that coming last year as a quarterback, too. And he's really responded well for us on the offensive side. And one impressive thing from that game was, you know, Caden Kappas' score on just a simple slant route, but the throw that he made and the catch that Kappas made, just one of the best combination throw catches on a slant route I've seen in a little while.
It was a good combination between those.
Yeah,
I know there was one too that Caden caught in the second half there, and he kind of, as Brian Watson said, my analyst at that game, of course, and Brian said that he mossed the other kid, you know, like the ESPN thing.
Yeah.
He went up and mossed the catch out of the other kid's hand, out of the defender. So Caden made a nice play on that one.
Yeah, and he's a dynamic athlete. He's a dynamic football player. He's a good one.
So let's take a look. The second half, you basically won the second half. I think it was 14-6.
Correct.
So it was a good second half. So now we're looking pretty good. We're coming into the game against the Hazen Bison. First home game of the season here for the Huskies. Got to be pumped coming into that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. It was fun to finally get a home game after what we went through last year. And we were jacked up about it. We came out and we were ready to play.
Yep.
And we were ready to play against them last year too, and we thought it was a winnable game last year for us.
Again, I think it was a 34-yard touchdown pass or 36-yard touchdown pass to Creighton Link. Again, so the passing game is kicking into gear for the Huskies.
Correct, and that came after a nice little stop for us on defense. They were driving the ball a little bit, and we came up with a huge stop on defense. And I thought, hey, it might be time for a shot. And all the coaches all agreed. All the coaches all agreed on the play that we should run. And Blake dropped back and he put it right on the money.
It was a nice pass.
Yeah, it was.
And then the 2-point conversion, I believe, was to Dez, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
We had a nice little route into the corner for him.
Yeah, it was, and we kind of bunched them up a little bit in the twins formation on that side. And, Schaefer Blake has a really nice throw to that side. He finds it a little bit easier to throw to his right side, and when we open up the field like that for them, and then they usually go to a man-to-man defense down there, we get a little bit of a triangle read going with our routes there, and Dez was able to open up that corner route. We were slipping Kappas underneath of that, and then we slipped the guy out into the flat, and that opened up that corner route real nice. And Blake made a great throw, and Dez went up and competed for the ball.
I don't want to give away secrets, but I think that was one of the first time I'd seen the tri receiver formation this year for the Huskies. Is that the first time? Did you do it in Millbank?
You mean when we bunched them?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the first time.
that was the first time.
First
That's what I thought.
Yep.
I thought that's what the first time I'd seen.
Yep, we did not run that against Millbank.
Okay, so we're up 8-0. Hazen makes a couple drives down there, and I believe it was 4th and goal, and defense showed up big. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps right now thinking about it and reliving that play in my head. And talk about that defensive stand there at the goal line.
Coach Model, as I've told you before, I think is one of the best in the business calling defense on that side of the ball. And he's always preaching finish, 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 and he's always preaching that, go finish the play. And that's kind of what we did. He's always preaching hustle to the ball. He's always preaching the heart and the pride of it. And we got down there, and I don't know, they had maybe a yard to go, and we stopped them on consecutive plays, and that gave us a crazy boost,
Man.
huge boost. Yeah, that
Crowd going nuts.
Yeah, that was a nice goal line stand.
Yeah, it was fun, and I'm sure as a head coach and former defensive coordinator yourself, I think you used to do that too as well. That was a heck of a stand.
Anytime the defense comes up with something like that, that gets the juices flowing, that gets the crowd going. Absolutely, it's probably even more exciting than a touchdown pass, or like you said, 36-yard touchdown pass. That's very exciting stuff to see that happen.
All right, so then they come back, they take the lead, and then the Huskies got to come back and tie the game at the end of the game. I think with about 40 seconds left, we go ahead and tie the game.
Yeah. I mean, we were able to drive the ball on them all night long. We just couldn't open up any run game. We knew we were going to be able to throw it on them. And, we were able to get the ball back, and we were able to drive it down the field again. And a couple of things go our way here or there, and we're going to pull out the win. We left points on the field. We did. I mean, we left a 2-point conversion on the field. I think we left, there were a couple of times when we ran the route incorrectly, or we just ran the wrong route, and it would have opened up on the backside. Would have opened up a deep route for a score. Those things happen, though. I mean, that's football. Football happens.
It came down, and Brian and I talked about it in the game, during the game, and Brian made the point. It came down to extra point conversions. Number one, they went up 14-8, and we blocked their extra point kick, which was huge at that time. I think we mentioned it on the air. That was huge.
It was.
So then we come down, we score our tying touchdown, and we need to score that too to win the game and not go into overtime. And then we failed on the extra point attempt.
Correct. And that's the one thing that we are always working on. We're always trying to tweak in our 2-point conversion game. And to tell you the truth, we are working on something else as well. This week.
And don't give it away.
No, I'm not going to give it away, but we're always trying to tweak those 2-point plays. Because though we know that those are huge plays. And you probably saw the chess match at the end of the game there, at the end of regulation, when there were timeouts being called, and we were moving the ball from right hash to left hash, and it was getting kind of crazy. But that's how it goes when you're late in the game, and that's when it's fun, is when you're doing that with the other team. And I know that it stinks that we lost, but it was a fun game to be a part of. And
so unfortunately we go to overtime. They score a touchdown.
Right.
They get first possession. I think you won the flip so that you deferred.
Correct.
Second possession, and then so they go down, they score their touchdown, they get the 2-point conversion, and then it's our turn with the ball, and
and we ran a boot, and the other teams have scouted us. They know that we're going to rely on the boot pass, and we've been awfully successful with it so far this year. And they had really good outside linebackers, and they were well coached. They knew that it was coming, but we always run it into the. I don't want to give no secrets away either, but we sometimes run it to one side of the field versus another. So sometimes you might be able to pick up on that, and we decided that we were going to try to run it the other way, and it worked. We got the touchdown, got the score, and then we could not convert. And we had the right play called. I honestly believe we had the right play called, and I think our quarterback put the ball right where it needed to be, and it's an awful tough catch to make. It really is an awful tough catch to make. I mean, people that think that that's easy to do, I invite you to come out and try, especially when the game is on the line like that. And I know that our kids were beating themselves up over
I could
just
just
see
see
that play, but
I was told by Caden's dad, who the pass was intended for, it was just off his fingertips.
It was.
He actually touched the ball,
he did.
and 5 inches would have made a difference.
It would have. I mean, even maybe an inch would have made a difference in the game of inches thing. But the ball was a little bit below his waist. But that's where the quarterback had to throw the ball because the inside linebacker was bearing down on him. We had a little bit of a snag concept working there, and like I said, we threw the ball where it needed to be thrown. It was low and away, and it was a tough catch to make. And you know what? Caden's going to make that catch.
That close to a win, Coach. We're getting there.
That's all right.
We're going to get there. All right, so now let's talk about this coming game here that we've got Friday night. We're going to travel out to Beulah and take on the Miners, I believe they are.
Yes.
So we're going to go out to Beulah. What do you know about Beulah?
Well, they're going to be big. That's for sure. They're going to be big and strong. I mean, one of the premier programs in the state at AA, and they live and breathe weight room out there, which is what we're trying to get into our culture as well. We're trying to get our kids to live in there in the off season and during the season, and that's what they do there. And they've got big, strong kids, and they will run the football, as we have seen from the first two opponents that we've had. They do not throw it much. If you recall last year's game with them at home, the type of offense that they run, it's all ground game.
Have they got a big bruiser running back? I haven't scouted them myself.
I think that they're better skill-wise this year.
Okay.
I do. I think they're more athletic, and I think they're faster. I'm just not sure about up front. But yeah, they're good. They're going to be good every single year. They seem to have a number of athletes in Beulah over the course of the last decade that they can give the ball to. So we're looking for 2 or 3 different guys to carry the football for them, and 2 or 3 guys that got decent speed as well. Yeah. So they're gonna run it, and their offense is. It's what they've done for years out there, and they do it very, very well.
So you haven't seen anything different. You've seen it for 3 years already.
Yeah, we've seen
much.
It. Yep.
So without getting secrets,
I'm sure they'll have a few wrinkles here and there that are a little bit
stuff.
different, of course. I mean, they're very well coached out there. He's been there for a very long time, and they've won a lot of football games under Jim Dooley, and they'll be ready to play. We just got to be ready to play too.
Yep. And I think I believe the boys will, because they smelled that victory right there, and we're ready to go for another one.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
I know. They had a good crowd there the other night against Hazen, or excuse me, Hazen, against Hazen, and it was a lot of sad faces, but there's got to be a lot of good feelings there after that one coming out. So hopefully they can take that into Beulah and keep carrying it on.
Yeah, they felt the same way after Millbank. It hurts to lose, but we told them, have a chip on your shoulder, be upset. Yeah, you should be, because we played well and we didn't come out on top. And we can't be satisfied. We can't just be satisfied with, hey, we played well, we were that close. That's not going to get done.
All right, Coach, I'm going to let you go. What time are you heading out tomorrow on Friday?
10 a.m. I believe we're
you guys
leaving.
head out.
Yeah, we got a few stops along the way. So.
We'll be a little bit behind you.
Okay.
Brian and I are going to head out right about noon, so we'll be out there, and we'll have the game for
Awesome.
the fans on Three Border Sports Network. We'll have that for you out there from Beulah, and Brian and I will cover that game. So we want to wish you good luck, Coach.
Well, thank you.
And,
You guys travel safe.
Good luck to the team, and yeah, you guys travel safe too. So we'll be right back with our next interview next. Again, for head coach of the Wahpeton Huskies football team, Wade Gilbertson, I'm Joe Schreiner. We'll be back after these messages.
Sports injuries can put a damper on a young athlete's high school career. Orthopedic and sports physical therapy is here to make sure you get back to playing the sport you love. Whether it's a knee, shoulder, ankle, or back pain, our OSPTI experts will use their knowledge to rehab and strengthen that injured area for a full and complete recovery. Stay in the game with OSPTI. All major insurances are accepted. Call us at 218-641-7725, or you can find us on Facebook at OSPTI, or check us out on the web at www.ospti.net.
Down here, every town is a sports town. And why not? Sports were important to us growing up, and we want the same for our kids. To get involved, because that's how kids learn to lead. And why Farmers Union Insurance supports these programs. Farmers Union Insurance. They don't just protect our community, they invest in it.
Okay, we're back, and I'm here with Ann Retzloff, head coach of the Wahpeton girls swimming team. Ann, thanks for joining me today here on Three Border Sports Network.
Thank you for having me.
So, season's off to a good start. You had a couple meets, I think 2 meets, correct?
Just one.
Just one? Okay.
Just one.
So how are things going so far?
That meet went really well. It was last week Thursday. We were at Fargo North. No spectators. The girls, I only had 7 of them that could compete because we've had some that weren't eligible with their practices yet.
Okay, yep.
But overall, they did amazingly well. I had Sydney Roberts picked up 3 state qualified times.
Oh, wow.
And she picked up 1 from the relay as well.
Okay.
And then both of her individual events, she qualified, let me make sure I get this right. She got the 200 IM and the 100 breast, which the 100 breast is where she did really well last year, and she started out this season at her EDC time from last year.
Oh, wow.
So that was really nice.
Wow, very nice.
Kenna Remley picked up EDC qualified times in both of her events, which were the 200 free and the 100 fly. And Haley Motoro added the 50 free for EDC as well. And then several of the other girls were like within a half second to a second of the EDC qualifying time. So it was really nice to see that.
So I'm sure, with the way that things have started off, Sydney Roberts has got to be pretty happy with the way that her season has started off. I know she had a good season last year. She was your state qualifier.
Yes.
So you kind of expect good things throughout the season from her. Is that correct?
Yes. And we will be looking, like one of the things that happened was a relay that she swam the leadoff leg disqualified. So I wanted to double check. I know the rule is that she should still get to keep her time because she was a leadoff leg and it was legal. But with COVID, I wanted to really make sure, so I've got to go online and make sure that they've got it registered, because if we end up losing a meet somewhere down the road, I want to make sure she has all the events available to her so we can make our decision at the end of the season which ones would be the best for her to continue on.
Sure. So as far as swimming goes, is it just individuals that qualify for state, or is it a team as well? So how many need to qualify in order for the team to make it, or is it just on an individual basis?
It's just on the individual basis,
Okay.
but every team can take their relays.
Okay.
So we could still take everyone as a relay swimmer.
Okay.
But right now, obviously we are eligible to go because we have Sydney qualified. So we're looking at trying to bring those relay times down and figure out the mix. Who's going to gel, who's going to have the best times, who's going to be the best fit for the particular length of that relay, if that type of thing as well.
What's your best relay then? If you do go to state, then is there only a certain relay that you can take, or you get to say, okay, I'm going to take this relay?
There's 3 relays. High school has the same events at every meet.
Okay.
So there are the 12 events, and there's 3 relays within those events. And that would be the 200 medley relay, the 200 free relay, and the 400 free relay.
Okay.
And I would, just knowing the kids that I've got and where we're at, we would be going predominantly with the 200 medley and the 200 free relay.
Okay. So what do you have coming up? It sounds like season's off to a really good start. You have West Fargo next week, is that correct?
On Saturday, we go to West Fargo.
Okay, and what are you expecting now?
Well, we're mixing up the events a little bit here, and I'm hoping to have healthy kids because I had one throwing up yesterday, and I had someone out with a headache, and someone's got their fall cold. So, I mean, if we can get everyone healthy, I'm looking at picking up more EDC qualifying times. Some of them are trying some events. Chloe Rubish, for example, saw tonight that she's swimming the 100 breaststroke, and she's like, oh man, why are you doing that to me? It's not her favorite. But I try and mix it up and have everyone have the opportunity to swim all the events. And we go from there. And her best stroke is the 100 back. So I know she wants to, she's this close to qualifying that for EDC. But I don't want to do it every time because you get a little bit more hungry if you've had to wait.
Yeah, it's good to mix it up a little bit because you never know what the result's going to be.
Exactly.
We were talking cross country earlier, and some of his runners in the first couple of meets have been some young kids who we didn't really expect to do very well, and they've passed other runners up. So do you get some of the same thing in swimming where you have some young kids who maybe surprise you a little bit?
I do, because I have a couple of 7th graders that I have actually worked with through club. but I've never seen them compete because I always just go to the pool, I run a practice with them, and I've never seen them in the water. And it's interesting to see the difference between a practice ethic and a competition ethic. It was very nice. And plus, I didn't know what they could do. So, like Maddie Byer, she was very close on a couple of things, and that was nice to see. She's a 7th grader. I've known her since she was a little squirt, but I've never seen her compete. Okay. So to have her come in and do that, Ellie Hendrickson was another one that I've never seen compete. Very close in the 53. Will be a very strong free sprinter in the future. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can pick up that EDC time this year as well.
Okay, well, good. Anything else you want to add for what's coming up or what's happened here in the past week?
Well, just, it's real interesting with the protocol and everything. Tonight we were trying to figure out everyone gets to have one spectator at the meet this weekend.
That can be difficult.
So how do you do that with parents when you say, well, pick your favorite parent? I don't know. So we're trying to shuffle and see, well, only my mom can go, so I only need one, or none of my parents can make it. They've got other plans, so you can have mine. We're trying to figure that whole thing out there.
Yeah, that's kind of been sort of the same thing with other events that we've been to. We've noticed that, there's only a limited number of tickets, and sometimes they get kind of moved around based on who can and who can't come. So something that we'll have to deal with, I think, for a long time, and we'll just have to work through it.
Right, unfortunately. And it's sad to see because, I know that we've got grandparents and that type of thing that would like to be coming, and I know that there's kids that were, both my parents, because they just assumed that they would get two.
Right.
But I'm sure it's based on the number of athletes that we have at the meet because there will be 5 teams there.
Okay.
So that probably cuts down on the spectator amount.
Sure.
So that we aren't over what the facility can host.
Has that changed any at all in regards to COVID as far as the number of teams we've seen in some other sports where they, like cross country is now only down to a triangle where there's only 3 teams there? Has that changed at all for swimming?
Well, yes, it has, because when we redid the schedule, we were not allowed to go out west, and the west isn't coming to the east.
Okay.
And actually this past weekend, it would be this coming weekend, we should be in Bismarck at their big invite. And typically that was kind of a prelude to the state meet, because virtually every team would go to that meet because it's a great facility. It's a chance to see a lot of teams from both sides of the state, that type of thing. So we don't get that opportunity. And I'm sure that they also had to probably limit how many teams they could have within there as well.
Right. Well, Ann, I appreciate you stopping by to talk with us. It's always great to hear about swimming, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, and we look forward to talking to you down the road again.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on Three Border Sports Network. We'll be back with our next interview in a few minutes.
Expert service for season-long performance. RDO does that in Breckenridge. With fall fast approaching, you need to prepare your lawn equipment for leaf and snow removal. At RDO, we'll perform all regularly scheduled maintenance and switch out attachments, so your John Deere and other brands will run at peak performance all season long. We'll even pick up and deliver your equipment. Talk about easy. Call 218-643-2601 to schedule your service at RDO in Breckenridge.
IFC, we work closely with our producers to utilize superior cropping and processing systems that yield products and ingredients of the highest quality and integrity. At Richland IFC, we are dedicated to working with growers through relationships based on longevity and mutual benefits for all parties involved. Richland IFC and its growers utilize superior cropping and processing systems that yield products and ingredients of the highest quality and integrity for our food manufacturers. Richland IFC proudly supports Husky sports. Well, Brian, we just finished with our first fall coaches show, weekly coaches show. So we're hopefully you're going to keep doing this every week and bring our fans more information. We had some good stuff here from all the coaches tonight. So what do you think of your first impressions here the first night?
Well, I think it was fun.
It was fun.
It's nice to talk to the other coaches and see what they have to say, see where they are in their season, let them promote their program a little bit. And I think we found out that we've got some really good athletes roaming the halls of Wahpeton High School, and it's kind of shown in each sport.
I mean, we talked to Ann Retzlaff, the swimming coach. She was happy and proud of what her athletes have done. We talked to Jeff Ralph, and he's got 3 qualifiers for state. We talked to Wade Gilbertson, head coach of the Husky football team. They're just on the edge of winning. They went to overtime and fell in defeat, unfortunately, but they're on the edge of winning a game here and getting things on the right track. The passing game is going very well for the Husky football team. We talked to head coach Larry Lash of the cross country team. He had a lot of positive things to say, and then of course we talked to Amanda Lundstetter as well.
Yeah, what's interesting is that all of the coaches in each of the sports so far this fall, they're finding some surprises at the younger age. Cross country with the sophomore, golf with 8th grader that's down shooting in the 80s. Swimming, same thing. Sydney Roberts, tennis. Sydney Roberts is an 8th grader in swimming. So it's promising of having such young talent and looking ahead to the future.
So we're looking forward to doing this again for the next few weeks and bringing in some things. Brian, we found out tonight too that golf season's almost wrapping up and the tennis isn't too far behind.
Yeah, we're kind of halfway through both of those sports, so we want to make sure that we give them the opportunity and that we keep up with them, and we want to see where they finish and see how they do within the state meets and state tournaments too as well.
I want to make sure everybody takes a look at our webpage. It's www.threebordersportsnetwork.com, and that's the number 3. And then our email, Brian?
threebordersports@gmail.com. That's with the number 3.
So you can send us an email if you'd like, send us some comments. If you'd like to be a sponsor on one of our games for the rest of the fall here, we'd sure be willing to talk to you about that. We'll make you a deal and do that too as well. Upcoming, Brian, we're heading Friday night. We're going to be in the lovely, scenic, beautiful Beulah, North Dakota.
And a big drive out west over to Beulah.
You're looking forward to that drive?
I'm looking forward to it. I'll take a nap on the way and you can drive.
Okay.
And then we're going to be doing Thursday night. We're doing volleyball. We got Valley City here at home. That's tomorrow night. And then we're looking forward to covering Husky sports the rest of the season.
And head coach Addie Vancouver, by the way, had other commitments this evening. She couldn't be with us tonight to discuss the girls volleyball season. So they're looking for their first W. They've been close on a couple matches that we've watched. We've done some games and. They play well the first couple of matches. They're halfway through a match, and then something happens, unforced errors.
Yeah, I think it's the same with all the sports. You see improvement with each match, and the volleyball team is certainly improving with each match.
Okay. We want to thank our sponsors, too, as well, here before we sign off. Our Wahpeton Daily News. We got OSPTI, Thrivent Financial, RDO Equipment, Richland IFC, Scott's Electric, Farmers Union Insurance, and of course the Wahpeton All Sports Booster Club. They're going to be with us all year. So we appreciate all of our sponsors that we've had all year, Brian.
Yeah, it's been a good start so far, and we look forward to bringing you the Coaches Show each week. The first one in the books.
First one's in the books, buddy.
We call it good?
We will call it good.
All right, thanks for joining us on Three Border Sports Network, and we'll see you next week.